Welcome to another episode of Himalayan Wisdom Series. Myself Veena Subbu, VP at Pyramid Times, and we have with us wonderful guest Dr. G. Tirupati Reddy sir. He is a spiritual enthusiast for the past 20 years, and he is also an engineering college professor and also principal, and he did his MTech PhD. He is also a vivid traveler and goes for trekkings into the forest and also a nature lover. He is currently trust member of many different societies and serves lot of people by taking lot of meditation classes, and also he is guiding people in spiritual sadhana of various aspirants in the path of enlightenment. And today I welcome Tirupati Reddy sir for our show. Welcome sir.
Thank you for a very nice introduction. Thank you very much to the Pyramid Times.
Yeah, welcome, sir. So, going to the Himalayan wisdom, we just want to understand your perspective on guru-disciple relationship and why is it important and how it will help a spiritual seeker journey.
Yes. For example, we have some subject. We want to study some production technology. So, if we read our own, it will take a lot of time. If some professor like me, if we will teach subject to the students based on my 10 years and 20 years experience and teaching experience or my research experience, then it will be a very effective way and different methods I use it to explain the students by using the different teaching methods like that. A guru, without guru, it is very difficult to reach the enlightenment path, because guru means in a Vedas or a traditional or whatever it may be, we have the two terms in this guru, Gu, Ru. Gu is one word, Ru is another word. Gu means it is a darkness, Ru means it is the light. So guru is the dispel of light, removing the ignorance from the disciples. Because guru, so that in our Indian culture, in a Himalayan tradition, if you come to the Himalayan tradition, they always call Guru Deva. We use it to add Deva. It's a god, Guru Deva. Like that, because he dispels the ignorance and darkness from our lives or in sadhana, and show the wisdom on the path of enlightenment. Because when we apply our mind, knowledge, and our conditioning, and we have been carrying so many things from so many incarnations along with this soul, based on karma, based on sadhana, based on our past lives and all these things. So, Guru knows about ourselves. If we surrender to the Guru, then he always share his wisdom and unconditional love to the disciples without expecting anything. That is the very important. Generally, I also thought so many times when I see the Himalayan gurus, why they are taking lot of pains to uplift and sharing the knowledge to the disciples. What are the benefits they are going to get? Like that. When we see, I was asked one question to one guru. Why did you do all these things? He did not listen to you. He always having some mischief things, and some disable. He always he doesn't follow your words and sadhanas. He is Even though why you are showing a lot of love and affection towards him, why are you wasting your time? He said, Guru told me, Himalayan Guru, what else I want to do? My purpose of the life is to teach the students, to teach the disciples, whatever I got the wisdom and knowledge. This is my purpose of the life. I don't have any other works. What can I do? Other than else, this work, what can I do? This is my work, my purpose of the life. So, so if you see the physical world, if you have some wife and husbands and children and friends and boss in the office, we also have the relationship with them. We use it to call generally, we also call in physical life love. In love, wife, husband, or whatever in physical life, they always expect something. I love you. What else? I love you. If you say that, they said, if I want to reflect back, I want to, if I will give you back that love or whatever it may be, they will expect something from us. If you love your wife, she always expects something from you. If you don't give anything, if you don't share or according to her vision and her expectations, if you don't fulfill all these things, her love does not exist for a longer period. They always expect something. There is no unconditional love. So Guru always give the unconditional love and always teaches something when we surrender to Guru. So that we always said that give the place to the Guru, very important role, very sacred name before God. First, we give the importance to the Guru, then only God. Because if we surrender to the Guru, then only you should know the God. You should know the path of knowing the God. And you should know first you are the God. You should have the awareness and consciousness. You are not a physical body, you are a soul. You are an unlimited being, you are an eternal being. These all knowledge and wisdom knows through the Guru only. If you want to reach the enlightenment or if you want to see the God through Guru only. So Guru is very, very important. Unless Guru, it is very difficult to reach the enlightenment. So that is Guru is very important. If you see the Lahiri Mahasaya, Ikteswar Mahatma Babaji, Lahiri Mahasaya, Ikteswar Paramsa Yogananda. Yes, the Guru, Param Sagaranda Guru, Ikteswar Guru, Lahiri Mahasaya Guru, Mahatma Babaji, Swami Rama Guru. Like that, each and every, you know, what are the Guru Vivekananda, Guru Ramakrishna Paramsa. Because everybody have the Guru, the direction, the right path and the right direction is very important in this spiritual sadhana. Otherwise, we'll divert in this path and it is very difficult to because they have spent so many years in this sadhana. And also Guru knows whether disciple is ready or prepared or not. That is very important. When disciple is ready, prepared Guru appears. That is very important because we always have some opinion about the Guru. Whether he knows all these things, whether he is a good Guru or bad Guru, whether he follows the truth, whether he is an enlightened master or not. Like there's so many things we have in our mind, conditioned our mind, because so many gurus are available. This is the guru and disciple relationship is the most and very, very important and sacred, and there is no other relationship better than this guru and disciple. This is the most sacred and happiest and whatever it may be. It is the we cannot say any other relationship is greater than and most important than the guru and disciple in this world, on this earth. I can say like that. So that much of then after the guru only God importance. God, guru is most important than God, because we are the God. Guru shows the path to know our godliness or our reality, our real source and path of the enlightenment.
That's very beautifully told, sir. Like how Mahadar Babaji called Lahir Mahashaya. Sometimes I wonder whether this relationship is of a current lifetime or they are carrying it for generations for the betterment of the whole world. And lot of traits that you explained, unconditional love, we can't learn it in regular relationships unless we suffer a lot. But being in a guru's presence, this unconditional love comes naturally without an expectation. There are
Yes,
so many beautiful things that we can elevate ourselves as a soul being in these beautiful relationships, and you have definitely highlighted. So for the starters, sometimes people find difficult how to identify who is my guru. People goes to various organizations and they learn from each of them, but still they feel, okay, I have not reached anywhere, or I have not met the right guru who can guide me. So for those people, what would you suggest?
yes, yes. There is a saying in the Vedas and the Gurus, when disciple is ready, Guru appears. So you have to prepare yourself. Always in that goal, purpose of the life. No need to search for Guru. Guru will search for you only. Because Guru is ready. Gurus are ready for you. When you are prepared, when you are ready yourself, wherever you are, whenever you are, in a underground or in your home or in cave or somewhere, you will caught by the you will catch by the guru. Because if you take one example, just now you told that Lahiri Masya. Lahiri Masya, actually he was in uh, Varanasi, Kasi now. He was doing job in Kasi. One day suddenly he got the transferred from job from Kasi to Himalayas. He was wondered. At that time, there were no communication. There were no like that trains and buses like that to go to the Himalayas. Now we have the lot of traveling communications available, traveling mode of transport available. So suddenly got the transferred from Kasi to Raniket Himalayas. Was very much worried about that, and it took 1 or 2 months to go to Raniket in Himalayas. That is nearer to the Nainital now. It is very near to the Mahatar Babaji caves, what we are calling now Dwarahat, very near to Dwarahat. It's a very uh, high place, hill station, very cool and very thick forest. Then one day, after 2 days, 3 days, he was very much worrying about everything. Then he was one day he was walking on the Himalayan hills. One day in the evening, in the dark time at the evening, maybe Himalayas. Always we may expect after 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, we may get the darkness. Because of 5,000 feet and 6,000 feet hills maybe obstruction to the sunlight. Suddenly, we have so much sunlight. Suddenly, we see the darkness. In that, it is the unpredictable nature, unexpected nature in Himalayas. That's why we call it as a always each and every moment to do or die. Then only we are experiencing that do or die situation in Himalayas. That is the one of the best place for removing the fear. That means you can experience the fearlessness, improve our quality. That who are staying in the Himalayas, they know so very much better like us. So when Lahiri Masya was roaming on the Raniket, so suddenly one voice was called. He had listened that voice, Lahiri Masya, come here like that. When he turned the face, some person was staying, some says he was calling to Lahiri Masya, come here. Who is that person in this thick forest and the Himalayas? Then he went to there. Then a small cave is available there. He took him to the cave. Then just sit in the Larimasa in that cave. Then Mahatma Babaji touched his forehead. Then immediately he went to the past life. Remembering all the past life. In the past life, you are the disciple of Mahatma Babaji. Then immediately he touched his Mahatma Babaji feet, and then Mahatma Babaji explained that he was the disciple in the previous incarnations. So, for the purpose of this, for teaching the Kriya Yoga, you got the transferred here. Myself did this voluntarily, so that then Mahatma Babaji taught to the Lahiri Mahasaya what is Kriya Yoga. Now, throughout the world, using that, it's the highest practice of is the Kriya Yoga. It includes all the Gnana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Raja Yoga, which is the mixed thing. It is a very beautiful thing. If you see any meditation, only meditation, or something is only Gnana Yoga, Vedanta teachings, another one is some Hatha Yoga, some Pranayama, some Kundalini practices. But this is combination of all the yogas. It's a very beautiful Kriya Yoga. It's a purification of mind, body, and chakras activation in etheric body, cleaning of our 72,000 nadis and all the seven chakras activation, kundalini activation, everything. If you do the serious practice of Kriya Yoga, so that 2 days back also we seen that Kartal Dhanama Chakram, Sadananda Giri was attended from Himalayas. He was 106 years. If you look back, if you go through the PMC also, you will see he looks like 60 plus years, because they are practicing this Kriya Yoga and Kaichari Mantra and all these things. So then he taught everything. Then after that, Mahatma Babaji told that, okay, you will go to the Kashi once again, Varanasi, and spread the Kriya Yoga to all the people. So you are the best example to the world on this earth. Even though do all the duties in the world without a renunciation, do the family and do the job and marriage and all these things. We have the different stages: grahasthashram, sannyasashram. Always think that people, we are always busy with the grahasthashram, means the job and family. We don't have the mm, time to do the sadhana. But if you observe 24 hours of daily life, they are always doing the mobile phone for 3 to 4 hours, the TV and duty if they wanted to do for 8 to 9 hours, everything for eating, doing everything is time available except doing the meditation or sadhana. Uh, because throughout the night. As a human being, as a Himalayan gurus, in the view of Himalayan gurus, only 2.5 hours sleep is enough if you do the right meditation, because you will get a lot of energy. 6 hours sleep if you do the 1 hour meditation equal to the 6 hours sleep. Whatever the energy, why we are go to the sleep? Why? For the energy. Everything is energy. For getting in deep sleep, we will get a lot of energy. That also cosmic energy. When we become a empty mind and thoughtless stage, then automatically we'll get the cosmic energy from the universe, because we are also part of the universe. So our soul is a part of the universe, because we are also creators. So when we are in a thoughtless stage, in empty mind, then we'll become a, that is when we go to the astral travel, or when we open this Brahmarandra, when we are in a thoughtless stage, we always under the shower of the cosmic flow, cosmic energy, that automatically will get the energy. So like that, uh, Guru, so that for removing this from the minds of the people on this earth, because in that olden days, now okay, so many new age spiritual leaders like that, Robin Sharma, Deepak Chopra, like that, so many Vivekananda, so many things they came into the Jaggi Vasudev, like that, Brahmash Patriji, like that. They are saying that they are showing that also Grahasthashram, married people, and samsara or nirvana, like that. You can, even the family you can lead in that stage. Lahiri said that some 300 years back, 400 years back, at that age, almost in Buddha, 2500 years back, in Gautam Buddha, all so many people went to only sannyas ashram for getting the enlightenment. They had that much of idea for breaking that conditioning, to remove that conditioning from the people. So it is impossible to do the everybody go to the renunciation and do the sadhana under the guidance of Guru. So they don't have the opportunity. So that Lahiri Maharaj came to Kashi. So Mahatma Babaji told that you are the best example to lead the family life, to do the job. He did the job up to the retirement. Then you teach the Kriya Yoga. You will become an enlightened master. Then you are the best example now. Till now, he is the best example in the on this earth. Lahiri Maharaj is the highest, greatest guru in my point of view. It is my personal opinion. He is the greatest master. And after that, Yukteswar Giri, Param Yogananda under this station. So there, Guru automatically, when disciple is Lahiri is prepared, then Guru appeared and taught the teachings. So when we remove our mind and conditioning, when we are ready, prepared, then automatically Guru comes. If you see the example, another example, Params Yogananda also. He went to the so many ashramas for searching the, he went to the for the guidance for the Guru. So he went to so many ashramas, so many sadhanas. Your question is how to identify the Guru. So many Gurus are available. That is also one part, because so many Gurus are available. Everybody is good Guru, but we can't go to the under the guidance of all Guru. We cannot select, because we live here for 70 years or 80 years. So if you're roaming 100 members or 200 members or 50 members gurus, if you go to 1 year one Guru, another 1 year one Guru, it is impossible task to uh, know that. Because when you seriously you have the intention in inner self, you have to know the purpose of the life, or or the enlightenment, or moksha, or nirvana, or this if you want to whatever the reach the samadhi sthiti, like that in this sadhana, then daily you are doing like that, automatically that is called the preparation. Do the reading the books and do the meeting the gurus and the right gurus, right masters, do the sajjana sangatyam. It is a satsanga. It is called satsanga, and do the intense meditation, serious meditation sadhana. Go your inner self. Who am I? Who am I? Then automatically your soul, because every soul is interconnected with the super soul or super conscious or nature or God or Guru. It is so that whenever you reach the state, that level of state of being, if you become a higher level of state, then automatically whatever the teachings required in that particular level, automatically that guru will connect through the nature. Because always Himalayan guru says you are always become a openness and become a instrumental to the nature, to the gurus. You always, that is called the surrender experiment. You always allow them to teach you, allow them to flow you, because you are not a physical body. We are thinking that we are the physical body. You are not a physical body because you are staying here in this physical body, but you always, if you see in talk in a spiritual term, you are not a physical body. You are a nature. You are a light. You are a eternal being. You are the part of the nature. You are the part of the vibrations. You are the part of the energy. You are the part of the molecules, part of the atoms. So you are the part of the air, part of the five elements on this earth. When you allow them, whatever the, because you are also part of them. When you allow you, when you become instrumental to the nature or gurus, automatically gurus, because their duty is that guru's duty is do the spread whatever the wisdom, whatever the sadhanas through right person, through the disciple. They are ready. Their purpose of the life is that their duty is like that. So, how to identify the gurus? Param Sivagananda also roaming and all ashramas. One day he went out of that ashram also, went to some market and going fed up. He was fed up with all these teachings and all these conditions, all these rules and ashramas. They always fighting with the quarrel with the power and this everything in everywhere ashramas, like in our physical world, like that. So name, fame, these all are enhance our ego. So this is also everywhere. These all are name, fame, sex, sleep, food. These all are in this physical body, always diverting and attracting our. We forget about, even though we always having the physically, we have the wisdom, knowledge. We are the soul. We are the God. We want to live the godliness, love, kindness, and this all. But whenever come to the situation in practical, we always diverting. Even though so many gurus you are seeing, so-called gurus, they have diverted and all these things you seen that so many news and papers and arrested, jail and all these things. So anyway, that is a different matter. So then one day he was walking in the market. Suddenly, unknown person suddenly called the Param Sivagananda. I have been waiting for you so many years. Come here. So, uh, Swami, who is for looking, when when he called the Param Sivagananda, in inner self, his feelings and emotions of the Param Sivagananda, having the very happy, blissful, joyful emotion when he was seen to the Yukteswar Giri, and that interconnected from the previous incarnations. That is the another indication in when we go to some person in his presence, we feel happy, blissful, and we want to stay for some time, and we feel our emotions, observe our emotions, our feelings, and our soul consciousness. It gives the very happy. We feel that I I want this, nothing else I required. We feel that fulfilled everything in our life, and also that happiness in his presence, and then immediately connected the previous incarnations, because the soul we have been the soul is the same from so many previous incarnations. In some incarnations we might have spent with that guru in previous incarnations. Now in these incarnations, we got these incarnations, some purpose of the life through some guru, to reach some guru. Whenever are some masters, not only guru, some masters, some family members who are uh, required and support to reach our path of enlightenment, or whatever, not only enlightenment or purpose of the life, whatever the purpose of the life. Some Tendulkar, his purpose of the life to become a cricketer, like that. So if we are discussing the some yogi or enlightenment, so that we are discussing in this purpose of the life, uh, who are help or support or guidance is required along traveling along with your journey. Then when you meet those people, when you touch those peoples, immediately your emotions, your feelings, your everything. Your mind, your conditioning, everything will changes, completely changes, completely happiness in your chemical reactions in your body, everything. That is your identification. So, my soul consciousness, my soul is having the connection with that. And also, in this purpose of the life, his guidance is required, his friendship is required, his satsang is required. So his friendship is required, whatever it may be, relation you can call it as, because of that person relationship is required traveling through this. There is no good or bad in this. Please remember that in relationships in the spiritual path there is no good or bad. These all are created by our society, our masters, our priests, our traditions, our scriptures, our rituals. So don't believe all these things. When you vanish all these things, when you break all these things, then you become unconditional things. Because when if you do something, Osho always says, if you do something good with unconsciousness, that is bad. If you do something bad with consciousness, that is good. Here in spiritual path, only one thing is base for this everything. Osho says always, whether you are doing with something with consciousness or unconsciousness, that is very important. If you do something bad with consciousness, that is right. If you do something wrong or something right with unconsciousness, that is wrong. So this is the only base, because soul always requires the experience. There is no good or bad, because we are already totality. Our soul is total, there is no incompletion. We are not aware of that. We are already God. We are saying, every Veda saying, master saying, guru saying, you are a God. No need to become a God. These all the sadhanas, all the paths, all the whatever we are doing, this is just for the creating awareness. You are the soul, you are not the physical body, you are the God. That's all. So you are the creator, you are the Buddha, you are the God. No need to become a Buddha, no need to become a God. Just you know your own self and reality, that awareness, consciousness, that is very important. So then immediately then Ikteswar Giri call him, come today evening to that place. Then he went. Swami Rama, you know that, the Himalayan masters, fortunate, very great master. He was lived 40 years in the Himalayas, in the nature. You see, if you go to the Himalayas, if you spend in 15 days, 20 days also, there is a lot of transformation in that Himalayas. that nature. I want to share one simple thing here. In Himalayas, no need to do any sadhana, actually, no need to do any meditation. Just sit in idle. If you want to talk, you can talk, or if you want to see the hills, see. If you want to sleep, you can sleep. If you want to eat, eat. Otherwise, you want to become, because we always in thoughtless stage. That much of some energies and nature, that power of Himalayas and Ganga. So that is called the divine land, Daiva Bhumi. Because so many rishis, gurus, sacred place, read lot of thousands of years sadhana. So that here, Swami Rama, when he was a small age, in the childhood itself, his guru came from the mountains to his home, and he went to his father and mother. Swami Rama also did not know about his guru. His guru, before his birth itself, he was decided. He came to hundreds of years age, Swami Rama Guru. He came to his home and asked their parents, I want to take him to the Himalayas at this age like that. At that age, he came to that and took him to the Himalayas. And you know that if you read that Himalayan masters with Swami living with the Himalayan master Swami Rama, then everybody knows. Last time we have discussed. If you read this book, then you will get the all the miracles how he was grown up under the guidance of Guru. If you read that book, then you should know how Guru teaches. So simply say mother and father gives birth to us, but Guru gives life to us. That is very important. That is the difference. Gives the life. He will guide us to reach our purpose of the life. Mother and father gives the birth only. But what is the next use? Why we should take the incarnation? What is the purpose of the life? If you take the birth, eating, doing job, doing the marriage, doing sex, food, sleep, and earning money, and become a old, and one fine day will die and vanish from on this earth without knowing the purpose of life, then we'll take another birth. But Guru is the only person gives the life to us. That is the so that we call the mother, father, Guru, God. This is the sequence. But after mother and father birth, then Guru is the so that in previous olden days Gurukulas, even Sri Krishna also went to the Guru for learning all these things. Sri Ramlu, Sri Krishna, Rama, Lakshmana, everybody went to the Maharshis. So this Guru, so that Swami Rama always said that when my Guru and God both appears at a time, first I will go to my Guru and a pranam to Guru. Thank you, Guruji. Because of you, because of you, I will see the God. I will get the darshan of God. First, I don't go to the God and say to God, thank you, God. Because of you, I got the Guru. No. First, I will go to the Guru and say to the thank you to my Guruji. Even though God appears beside the Guru, first I will go to the Guru and thanks to the Guru. Because of you, because through you only, I got the opportunity to see the God. Otherwise, I cannot see the God. because this is the very important of Guru. How to ante Guru automatically appears when you go to different places. You can see the Gurus because Swami Rama Guru also sent to the so many Gurus. Because if you stay in one Guru, then your mind become conditioned. You always think that if some miracles shown by some other person in Himalayas, one person just take the matchstick and put on the tongue, then become a fire. Then Swami Rama wondered why I have been so many 15 years under with my Guru. He didn't show even single like that siddha or miracles like that. Is a waste of my Guru. He is showing fire like that. Then one day suddenly he escaped. He was escaped from his Guru and went to that Guru for learning that. So he was he went to that Guru and stayed some period of time. He was asked to new person that was shown that miracles. Asked how many years it took time to uh, got this miracle or whatever siddhi. He says 7 years. It took practice of 7 years. I got it power. Okay. Then he came to the after some period. One day he came to the his own guru because guru always gives the freedom. Uh, so he went to the Swami Rama once again to his guru, asked to his guru. He is a very wonderful person. He is just on mastic, just simply is creating a fire on the tongue like that. Just simply smiled his Swami Rama Guru, said that just simply using the matchstick, using the matchbox, just for the sake of 50 pies, he was spent 7 years time. He was wasted 7 years. Is it the great thing? So, so that you have to overcome all these siddhis and powers and miracles automatically comes on our path sadhana. That gives the guru. So many persons attracted and attached to that whatever the healing powers everybody got, that is having the astral travel, third eye visions, chakras activation, shakti everything is available. And walk in and telepathy, clairvoyance, all these things, everything is available. Every powers are is there. Everything is available, but uh, it's not our final destiny. It's not our final purpose of the life. That moksha, buddhatva, nirvana, or uh, like that. So that gives clarity only the Guru, under the Guru guidance, surrender to the Guru. Just surrender to the Guru, because there is no bad Guru in the world on this earth if you are a good disciple. Another statement given by the Swami Rama. There is no bad Guru on this earth when you are a good disciple. That is the only Himalayan Gurus always said, no judgment, no complaint, so that they always teaching the freedom and fearlessness. If you have these two things, mainly you get from the Himalayan Gurus, silence, Mahasunya, very deep silence that emerges with the nature. This is the another important thing is when your question is in the presence of your gurus in this incarnation. So many gurus you got guidance from the previous incarnation. So many persons available in on this earth plane, but your lifespan is 80 years or 70 years or 100 years or 150 years, whatever you have decided, your design, I don't know. In this period, for your purpose of the life, who guidance is required, who's for what are the person's guidance is required, then if you reach that persons, or they will come to you when you are prepared in from under their presence, with their presence, you got the lot of happiness, lot of joyfulness. You experience that speechless, actionless, and thoughtless that you have. You get some that much of blissful, joyful under their presence. Then that is the indication. Unconditional love under their aura, under their energy portal. You automatically you get the connection with the consciousness, soul consciousness. Then you should know automatically that experience you should experience. So he is my guru, or he is required in this path for so. Then you will carry the travel. Then you will carry the travel along with that masters. Even though he is famous, then another person is very famous than that person, but you don't require his guidance in this incarnation, particular incarnation. That is very important point. You don't want to waste time for 5 years or 10 years with that, because you don't want to require in that sadhana or in that path. That is not bad. All are good. Bhakti yoga, Gnana yoga, Kundalini yoga, Raja yoga, Hatha yoga. All are good. Everything final destiny, but your purpose through you, that masters decided, and your purpose of the life through you, something we need to do the this cosmos or humanity, through you something will do it, because they don't know how many years you want to live. You don't know, so that you each and అందుకే live in moment, that is important. Each and every moment. Vivekananda 33 years only he was lived. Jesus Christ, today is the Christmas. Jesus Christ only 33 years he was lived. So Adi Shankaracharya 33 years. If you go to Himalayas also, Adi Shankaracharya visited there. How it was possible within 33 years at that 400 years, thousands of years back? Because they didn't travel through this physical body. Please remember that. So these are the some brief how to identify the gurus and all these things.
Very beautifully explains a lot, many insights you have thrown. And even Lord Dattatreya, he has a lot of gurus in terms of ants, mountain. For him, everything is guru. As you rightly said, when the disciple is ready, guru will appear. It can be in any form. And that is
Yes.
very beautiful. And you also emphasize the importance of surrender and the practice of meditation, through which we can get the energies to attract right gurus. Also, when we are in the presence of gurus, you also highlighted that we let go of the bodily limitations and also the mind conditioning. It's a ecstatic or divine state, a bliss or joyful state that we land up in. That is the indication that we are in the presence of the right gurus that are needed for us. That is very beautifully explained. And you very much highlighted the importance of Himalayas in terms of bringing the silence or connecting to our core, the essence of us. It's very beautiful.